Um,
Hello and welcome to The Professional. The Professional is a channel I started with the idea of lifting the veil on the realities of working in the fashion industry from the point of view of the people in the background. Those real professionals whose names you probably don't know, but they are the people that truly make things happen at every level and every facet of this big business that is fashion nowadays. This is the first sit-down interview I'm doing with the very, very talented Matthias Winkler. Our conversation was very, very dense, covering lots of topics that I think could be interesting both to those already working in the industry or those hoping to get into it. So I've decided to split it into sections, and I will drop those as short videos over the next few days. And for those who want to hear the full conversation, a longer video will follow. You do have a certain community of creators around you, of craftsmen around you within the fashion field. And it seems like there are a lot of like-minded people coming to the forefront, creating beautiful clothing, accessories in this sustainable way.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there's other people making shoes or bags or clothes in the way I'm doing it. It's still for all of them not very easy to do. I was lucky that I was supported at the beginning by Austria, where I come from. There's a fashion association that supports young talents, and that was extremely helpful. I mean, I couldn't have done it without that. Of course, if you're in France or if you're in the UK, it's not so easy to get them. There's just more people applying. Yeah. So I was very, very lucky with that, and I couldn't have done it without that financial support. Of course, there were also people I've met before. I have amazing craftspeople, and they love their work. They love to produce stuff. I once read somewhere, hands make beautiful things, not machines.
Yes,
and
sure.
I think that's true. You can feel that, and I think, or I try to believe that there is a comeback of people wanting things of value. They want things that they that you can have for a very long time, that you can repair, that you I mean, I have things, and I'm sure you have the same. We have things that we have for 10 years, or you bought when you were a teenager, or things that you have from your grandmother.
I stole these trousers from my mom, actually.
See, for example. And this is the problem for me, of course, today, when with fast fashion, they break easily. We already know now that we're facing these problems. We have these cheap produced garments or whatever, and you cannot pass them on. You can also not recycle them. So
I think that's a big issue that people don't realize. When you return a garment because a certain retailer has a program where they claim to recycle them, I think a very small percentage is actually recyclable, but that is a topic for another video.
Yeah,
I think
that's a big topic, as well.
What's fascinating, I think, is that you've been able to find these craftsmen, these makers around you in Berlin, and there seems to be a new commitment to making with your hands, to creating beautiful things with your hands, as you said, and I think that trickles down to the consumer eventually.
Yes, I think so as well. I mean, I think there's a new appreciation for craft. There should always have been, but I think there was a time where it wasn't out there, and people just I think in this world of overconsumption, where we more and more are surrounded by kind of cheaper stuff, and I think people just value well-made, expensive, or rich kind of things again. They want to surround them with that.
Yeah, and we see a lot of young people excited by what you do. I know one of the challenges of running a label is well, working with people and working with young people. Is that something you want to talk about? Because it's great to have this help, but it's also a big commitment on your part, isn't it?
Yeah, this is a difficult topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just find that kind of an interesting piece of information for maybe young people that are in this position, looking for internships, wondering why are they not getting the jobs. It's because actually even those positions are very competitive, because it is a demand on the founder's time to be able to guide them.
Yeah, I think it is with a very small brand. It's a lot of students, of course, today they have to do internships, they have to work for different brands, but it's for a short amount of time. It's like 6 weeks, it's 4 weeks. If you are a small brand and you have not a person that is just dedicated to show the students how they should work, you know, or what they should do, then it takes a lot of time away that I'm sometimes just not able to provide. And then it's also, yeah, you can show somebody if a person stays for a longer period of time, but it's a very specific way of working. So it's hard when it's when the person has no experience. And of course, if you're a student very often and you're not a crafts person, then you don't have the manual experience with that. It's a lot of time that you have to put into to kind of show the students what they can make. So it's, you know, it would be great to do that, but it's kind of a complete different thing to teach them what to do. So unfortunately, very often I cannot afford to do that. You know, we're a super small team, and we're doing our things. And as soon as there's a new person, you just have to spend more time on showing this person how it's done. And yeah, unfortunately, that's not really possible. I love the input, of course, of young students, you know, they have new ideas and so on. So I would love to be able to do that, but your reality is just a different one.
Because you do so many different things as the person running the label. You're the designer, you are a maker, you're, I guess, sometimes a courier, you're the salesperson, the marketing person.
Yeah, I'm all of these things, but I work with really talented craftspeople that are doing the craft for a very long time. And I think, so I can make a shoe, of course, I can make certain aspects, but I don't make on a regular basis. I don't make the shoes. I work with a very good shoemaker that is doing it for 20 years. And so I make everything else. And of course I finish the shoe, and I cut their shoes before they are stitched together and so on. So everything that has an aesthetic, where aesthetic decision is necessary, I do, of course, and I do all the finishing and so on. But yeah, it's also important to know what you can do and what, you know, and where other people are better at.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most important lesson, and it's one that I've heard from a lot of people in this position. It's so important to recognize also your weaknesses, not just your strengths.
Yeah, I think.
You have to go to the airport. I have to go in a meeting. So this is all the
busy fashion world.
It's a very busy fashion world. I think there's probably a lot of background noise being picked up, but this was the only moment we could find to sit down together, the only moment we could take out of our busy schedules to sit down and talk in front of the lights, in front of the cameras. And I really hope that this is an interesting conversation for everyone watching. Thank you, Matthias. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for coming over.
Welcome, darling.
Oh, I wanted to ask you what's next, but I forgot. So
what's next? We can still do it.
Okay, maybe we start. What time? Oh, 3 minutes.
No.
We've got 3 minutes. So what's next? What's next for Matthias Winkler?
Well, so the collection, I just finished the collection. So it's the end of May now. We're going to Paris. Paris now after 3 years of pandemic, for me the first time.
Wow.
you know, I'm very excited to see everybody again. You know, lots of friends, lots of people I haven't seen in a long time. So I'm very excited about this. Yeah, that
we'll be together at the same time doing very different things again.
Yes, very different things, but yeah. So it's always nice to come together again and see the people you know from before.
And
yes.
What's the long-term vision?
Well, the long-term vision is, of course, that that we're doing what I'm doing, I can do on a slightly bigger scale. I don't have to, you know, panic too much about surviving. That I, just growing a little bit, not too much, but maybe struggling less. You know, just that things are maybe set a bit more, and I mean that is basically the dream, that I can live off what I'm doing, that would be amazing.
A huge thank you to Matthias, and thank you for listening. Now keep up the good work, and goodbye.